Welcome to Damn Good Marketing Podcast, where we ditch the fluff, cut the BS, and get real about what actually takes to market your business like a freaking pro. I'm your host, Shelby Clement, Louisiana native, two-time boy mom, and the founder of Shelby Clement Marketing, a social media agency built for small-town entrepreneurs with big-ass dreams. I left corporate, where I was underpaid and underestimated, built a multi-six-figure business from the ground up, launched a sold-out marketing event, and created this podcast to give you the truth behind growing a brand online without losing your mind or your values. This is for the ones who are tired of spinning their wheels, ready to show the hell up, and finally market with confidence, clarity, and consistency. So if you're ready to grow, get bold, and to build a brand that actually turns heads and opens doors, let's do the damn thing. Hey ladies, it's time to feel amazing in your skin, no matter what stage of life that you're in. At Halra Wellness, they've got you covered. From everything women's intimate health and injectables, think Botox and fillers, to weight loss support and laser treatments, all personalized just for you. Their mission, to help you feel confident and unstoppable inside and out. Book online and use code SHELBY10 in the appointment notes for 10% off of any service. So what are you waiting for? Head over to halrawellness.com to book your free consultation and start your journey to total wellness, because you deserve to feel like the absolute best version of you. Oh my God, Carly Holra, welcome to Damn Good Marketing Podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Are you so excited?
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Well, that's okay. You know what, guys? Like, if you're listening to this, what I did actually for this episode is I put question boxes on my Instagram for people to submit questions, and I didn't even tell her to prep her. So we're just going to come out of the gate. So first and foremost, can you tell everybody who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm Carly Holra. I'm an aesthetic and wellness nurse practitioner. I own Halra Wellness and Aesthetics in Madisonville. We have been open for 2 years and are rapidly growing.
Yeah. They've had some great growth in 2 years. Holy crap. Mm-hmm. They have a great marketing team too. Just kidding.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so we're going straight into the questions, okay? Because we have no time to waste.
This is giving Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
Okay. I'm like nervous. I'm not really. It's not really that bad. Okay. You've been through some serious adversity over the last 2 years. People tried to tear you down, discredit your work, and push you to walk away from everything you were building. But you didn't quit. How did you keep going when you would have been easier to back down? And what would you tell someone who's in the same fight right now, trying to build something while it feels like the world is against them?
Ooh, that's a good one. And like, without trying to get emotional, it's so hard to keep going. But like, I just remember one night I opened up my laptop and I was looking up nurse practitioner jobs in the ER because that's my background. And my husband's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to go work for someone else. Like, clearly this is just not meant for me. And I just knew, like, I had a team, like my sister works for me, you know, like I have 2 daughters. I have a son that needs to see me keep going. And finally I slammed my laptop and I was like, that's off the table. Like, they can get over it if they don't like the business that I've built. And I'm not asking them to be a patient. I'm not asking them to be a client. And if they don't like me, they can go to hell. And like, I just completely took shutting down off of the table and never thought about it again.
I love that. So what you talked about a few things in there, and I want to like bring people back just on like the journey part of it. Like, you were in ICU, right? Mm-hmm. How long were you in the ICU?
7 years.
And you were in that through COVID and everything, all that?
Yeah, I was a trauma cardiac ICU nurse for 5 years, and then COVID happened. I lived in Virginia Beach at the time. My husband is a fighter pilot. He was on deployment. Right before COVID, he deployed. I moved home and took a travel ICU job with my best friend. We lived in New Orleans. We traveled to local hospitals in New Orleans, taking care of ICU patients that had COVID. It was incredible, but it was scary. I mean, I moved home with my kids. He was like emailing me from the middle of, you know, God knows where, saying, "Are y'all wearing masks? Like, what's going on at home?" And we're like running out of body bags. He had no idea. But like, it just, we were living 2 totally separate lives, and that's how we moved home.
And then what really got you for that transition to, you know, ICU to aesthetics? Like, where did you?
Well, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I have a passion for aesthetics, blah, blah." I've always been like a girlier girl and into looks, but I'm not going to say like I knew in high school I wanted to go into aesthetics. I love being an ICU nurse. I love being particular. I love being educated and being, you know, like, subject matter expert in my field. So I loved ICU. And then I went back to nurse practitioner school. And really the whole reason I got into this is I got Dysport before my wedding from Dr. Ben Boudreau. And I fell in love with it. And I was like, this is incredible. Like if I could do this for people and hang out with brides and people that are having their first grandbaby and their kids are getting married, like that's what I'm going to do. And it provided a wonderful life for my kids and a lot of flexibility for me.
Yeah.
So I left the bedside, went back to nurse practitioner school and opened my clinic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you've definitely been through like trials and tribulations, like just in like 2 years, right?
Yeah, it's been nuts.
I have found that the med spa aesthetic world is just very, very competitive. So like, how do you keep such a calm sense and like a straight head to say, you know what, like I'm going to not listen to that noise and I'm just going to keep building something that, you know, that I love?
Yeah. I think that comes from having a strong sense of self. I have never been like a super, I don't know, like go follow the crowd, self-conscious kind of person. I've always, you know, like known where I stood and had really strong friendships. And I just know like the one thing that people can't take away from you is your character and your reputation. And you really have to hang your hat on your reputation. And I knew I had a good reputation. I knew that I have an amazing staff and we've built an insane brand. So while there is a lot of drama, like I don't know what it is about the North Shore, particularly with these med spas that are so cutthroat. And I don't know. I don't know if New Orleans or Baton Rouge or anything else has that or other cities. I would love for someone to reach out if they have that in their city too. But it's nuts. I get along with a lot of them though. I really do. And we have built like a really good network of colleagues.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's go into the next question that, you know, someone had obviously put. You answered a lot of the questions right now though, but okay. So the market is crowded, but you're standing out. So what makes Halra different? Like how you treat people, educate, or you care for your clients? Like what do you think that actually makes you stand out from everyone else?
Oh, okay. I love this. I think that we are a solid like wellness culture. Like you step off the elevator and everyone is so bought in. Like they're not there just because they found a job on Indeed. Like they all really want to be there. And we're not a money grab. Like I will tell you know, like people are like, can I come in? I'm like, no, it hasn't been 90 days or you don't need that, or we're not doing that. And the relationships that we've built are incredible. So like, you're not really just a number and we're not doing like the latest fads and all that stuff. So I think that people, they want to support you and they want to be involved in, in your clinic and they want a relationship with you. And I think that they really value once they get to know me and Katie and the other providers that we have, they just love it.
Yeah. How, like you pride yourself on being like very honest to everyone that walks in. Yeah. Cause like I remember the first time I was so scared to get Botox. I literally came to you to get laser hair removal, which I never finished cause I'm such a baby. Yeah. But you were like, we got to fix that line. And I was like, oh, she said it, but I was so scared to do it. But like, I trusted you immediately. That's like the first time we ever met, truly.
Well, yeah. I mean, I knew you were about to take off and build a brand. I wasn't going to let you do that with that big line on your forehead.
Thank you, friends. What is your advice to people that like really want to get into like Botox, but they're just scared? Like what would be your advice to them to take that little plunge to just start?
Yeah. Get off of TikTok and get in my chair. You know, you don't have to. A lot of that stuff that you're seeing on the internet is just the wrong. It's not the hair, they say all the time, like it's not the hairdresser that gives a bad hair or not the hair scissors that give a bad haircut. It's not the filler that's giving you that crazy look, it's your provider. And so I think a lot of people are misled by social media with what people will look like that get filler and Botox. And if I've been getting this for 20 years, what am I going to look like in 20 years? I'm like, you're going to look the same and you're going to look stunning, and we're not trying to really change anything. Like I love my clients that are like, I want to glow up, but like, we're not changing anything, right? Like, so the aging process is what changes your face. And we're just trying to preserve, your natural beauty and how you look. And that's how I feel. You're not going to look different.
I'll tell you, everybody that literally gets in Carly's world has a glow up. Like I've even seen pictures of me a couple years ago and I'm like, oh, I look way younger now. Even like Elena was like, oh, you look so much younger. I was like, thanks. Okay. So you didn't just dream this up. You like executed it, right? So like, what did it actually look like? Someone actually put this in the questions and I thought it was like genius, but what did it actually look like to turn your vision into a fully booked business? Like, did you follow a formula or did you read a book or like, what did you do? Like, how did you? Okay. So tell us.
Wild. I quit my job. I put in my 2 weeks notice. And within 2 weeks, I was seeing patients in a folding chair at Halra Wellness and Aesthetics. I don't know what it was. And I don't know what else to contribute it to. Like, I think I just was such a God thing in the Coffee Rainy parking lot. I made my first draft of a logo in the parking lot and was like, guess that'll work, Yeah. And if you build it, they will come, right? And I think that that's a huge testament to our small town and how much, they want to support local and they love you when you're born and bred here.
Yeah.
That has helped tremendously. Like, I don't know what it would be like to be an outsider trying to start in a new city. And I tell my husband that all the time. And he's like, you would kill it anywhere you went. Like, if we went to Dallas, if we went to Houston, like, you could do it.
Yeah.
And I think I always sell myself short. I'm like, no, it's only worked out this well because I'm from here. And he's like, no, you have no idea what you've built. But I don't know. It just really worked out. And sometimes you get lightning in a bottle and God's really on your side. And I mean, it freaking worked.
It worked. Cause like I will say, like, I remember coming to you when you were in that like rented out space. I don't even know where you were. And we don't
in
have
the
to
back of a doctor's office. Yeah.
Came in there. And then like, I remember it was time for like a touch up or something. And you were like, wait, pause. And then like the next morning you like opened in your new place. Cause you were just like, isn't it cool how like God works? Like he puts something on your heart and then all of a sudden, like he doesn't really give you the tools to do it, but then like you have the drive to execute it.
Yeah. And he doesn't like really take all the bullshit out of the way, but he definitely gives you the tools to get through it.
Yeah.
And I know my husband was out of town again. He, is a pilot. And he got home and our TV was on the floor in our master bedroom because the huge piece of furniture that my TV normally sits on and our master was in my new clinic with some products on it. And he's like, where's the furniture? I'm like, well, it's at my new clinic. Like, yeah, we started a business.
Right. We started a business. We gotta sacrifice some of our furniture.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, let's dive into like Halra Wellness. Let's talk about the services that you have to offer. Number one, what is your favorite service right now that you offer?
Oh, okay. Well, right now, it wasn't like, a month ago, but our newest service that I'm like obsessed with is PDGF. It's platelet-derived growth factors. And I truly think that biologics are like the way of the future, right? No one wants to look totally different. We just want to preserve what we have.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful way to rejuvenate under eyes. I have loved it. Every single time someone comes in for after pictures, even I'm blown away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, this worked. And the next girl comes in, I'm like, damn, this really worked.
Yeah. Okay. So for people listening, they're probably like, I don't even know what she just said. So can you break down like, what is it? And then who is it for?
Okay. So it's basically for anyone that has trouble with their under eyes. And sometimes rejuvenating your under eyes, you don't even know you need it, but like it just brings the life back into you, especially as moms. It's a good thing for men too. Like I feel like men carry a lot of their stress in their under eye bags. So it's an injectable for underneath the eyes. It stimulates collagen, elastin, and helps heal like the under eyes and give you that like youthful bounce back underneath that like literally you can't even imitate the results with makeup.
Yeah. How long have y'all been doing this?
I don't know, like 17 weeks.
Yeah. And like literally y'all, if y'all go to their Instagram, every single before and after is like wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So one of my friends actually came and got it from you like recently. And when I saw her before and afters, I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, oh, I might need that next.
Yeah. I didn't even think I needed it. Turns out I needed it.
But I think what scares me the most, and I feel like a lot of people that are listening to this can probably resonate, is the needle close to my eyeball.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to trust whose hand it's in, right? Like, I'm not going to stab you in the eye.
Yeah, good point.
I got you.
Okay. Let's talk about another service that a lot of people, there's a lot of up and downs with this. And a lot of people have like a really bad taste in their mouth with like the weight loss shot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get into that.
Okay, we're going to talk about it because like there's so many people that are like, oh, I want the weight loss shot. Like sell it to the people that are listening to it right now because it's not necessarily just for weight loss. It could help with what? Inflammation. Like what is it? Can you
brain fog, fatigue, it helps regulate your hormones. There are so many things I feel like on the internet that have come out about how wonderful this drug is. And there's another podcast, we can link it. It's fantastic just to talk about like the inflammation benefits and how you sleep better and how your periods are lighter and how it improves fertility, I mean, I'm a huge testament to that, I got pregnant on Ozempic. But it's so much more than just a cheat. It's so much more than just an easy way out, and I say, why not? Like your friends don't have to know. So many people are like, don't tell so-and-so. And I'm like, well, 1, I'm not allowed to. Right. And 2, I would never. And 3, you should tell them, it's not, who cares, know? Or if you just want to tell them that you're, went paleo and are on B12, you can do that too. I'll back you. But it's wonderful. And I'm always super open about it. As soon as I stopped breastfeeding, I got back on it.
So, okay, I want you to hit this from this angle too. Cause like, obviously you know, social media, TikTok, everybody has the negatives effects of it. And I've even heard like doctors have negative effects. I'm like, okay, I just feel like it doesn't always have to be negative, right? And so can you talk about it in the sense of like, people are like, well, I'm scared of depression, or I'm scared that I'll just be flabby, or I'm scared, whatever the insert what it is there. Can you like talk a little bit on that?
Yeah, about how it causes like muscle wasting and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. So if you're just laying in bed injecting yourself with a GLP-1, obviously your body's going to deteriorate your muscle before it does your fat. But if you're doing just mild weight-bearing exercises, I'm not saying you need to get on Ozempic and join CrossFit. But if you just go on a walk, wear a weighted vest, do, body weight exercises, yoga, Pilates, obviously I love Pilates, you will see results. I think that you will start to feel so much lighter. You fit in your clothes better. And then all of the hard work that you're putting in the gym, even if it's not that hard of work, like I don't love like a huge HIIT class or a CrossFit class or anything. Even if you're not putting in that much work, you will still see your results. And I feel like if you're a new mom or if you're middle-aged, and you're working out, you should, you deserve to see those results.
Yeah.
So,
well, hey, she just
even if you just microdose.
I know. Okay, cool. So like, even if the internet's telling you right now it's linked to cancer, what would you say to that? Because like that is like everywhere right now. They're like, if you are on these weight loss shots, like you're probably going to get cancer. I'm like, that's an extreme.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the one to ask about that because I am like half made up of Diet Coke. But I feel like as long as you like the way that you look and are enjoying life, I mean, everything is linked to cancer, I don't know. So is obesity. Obesity is directly linked to, developing cancer. So is eating processed meat. And, I feel like if you are on the GLP, I feel like you're more likely to live a healthy lifestyle, and not eat a hot dog and bacon and all the other stuff that leads to coronary artery disease. And, being overweight is awful for your health. That has been proven time and time again. So then we come out with not a shortcut, but an easier solution to being overweight. And then now that's going to kill you too.
Yeah.
So
like when they come to you, say they're going to come to you for injectables or weight loss, like they're not just getting a shot and walking out. Like can you talk a little bit about your process? Like when you come in, like walk us through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually my partner, Lauren, that does the weight loss side of our business. I am just aesthetics, but I love to talk about wellness. So if you're in my chair and you want to talk about it, absolutely. It's Lauren that will sit you down and do a huge thorough consult with you. And I always laugh because I'm like, man, you are a talker. But I mean, she'll get into your diet. She'll get into your sex drive. She will get into, if you're trying to have babies again or what your day-to-day looks like. It's not just take this shot and keep eating flaming hot Cheetos and have a great day.
Yeah.
Even if you do that and still drink a margarita every night, you probably will still lose weight.
Yeah.
But she wants to make sure that you're doing it healthy and that if you ever did want to get off of it, she sets you up with the tools to be able to get off of it. It has done so many wonderful things for me aside from weight loss. I don't think I really had that much weight to lose. And she's like, Carly, if you get on it, like the brain fog will lift, the energy will come back, the postpartum funk will you'll feel like yourself again. I guarantee it. And your periods are lighter. It has done wonders for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can fight this out of my cold, dead hands.
So everybody just call Halra Wellness Aesthetics. So y'all do virtual.
Yeah, you can call us virtually, unless you're out of state, because that's illegal.
Here we go. From injectables to weight loss to wellness and laser, you just focus on you don't just focus on looking good, but you focus on feeling good. How important is that whole body, whole woman approach to what you're building at Halra?
Yeah. So I think that with us, it's so much more than just like going shopping at like a strip mall to try to feel better about yourself. It's an entire experience, and you are leaving like with a new friend. So I feel like the relationships that we built, and even just the other day, I had someone come in talking about NAD and, she's in a tough season of life. And I'm like, I think that you need to go to your general practitioner and like maybe talk about, depression or something to help you sleep or, I really get into like, you don't look like yourself today, and by the time we're done with their appointment, they're in tears and we're hugging and we have a game plan to meet back up in 4 weeks and, not only look at your, Dysport or Botox results, but like follow up on what's going on with your life, like how's your dad? How are your kids? Like, I know what it's like to be in the absolute thick of it. I know what it's like to go through shit. And it may look like from the outside looking in, like I've got it really going on, but I know what it's like to go through a tough time with your family life, with, childhood, with being a mom and still dealing with, like childhood stuff while raising children. So
and building a business
and being a wife and wanting to give everything to your kids and your business. So anyways, I think that whenever they come to us, they're like, wow, I got so much more out of it than just a really good face of Botox.
Yeah. Because whenever you like people think of Halra, you don't want them to think that you're just aesthetics. Like y'all do like a big realm of things. You have injectables. You do weight loss. Tell them a little bit about the Empower RF. Like what is that for?
Oh yeah. So we do women's sexual and intimate wellness, which I think is awesome and never talked about. And a lot of people like don't even want to say, you know, vagina or decreased libido on the internet. And it is kind of hard to talk about. And it has been hell to market because it's hard, you know? No one wants to talk about like the way that your body looks after babies, especially, you know, like in an intimate setting, or how your sex drive is in the gutter after you've had a child, or that you pee on yourself whenever you're literally just like unloading the groceries from your car because you've had so many kids. Even if you haven't had children, I think urinary stress incontinence is something that we don't talk about. But it has been awesome. And everyone that has done the Empower has been like, thank you so much. I never even knew that I didn't have to wear a panty liner to go to the gym.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I feel like there's just so much in the aesthetic world that women are just so embarrassed, I guess, or scared to talk about. If you were to talk to someone right now, like obviously my community is a lot of women. Yeah. So what would you tell them right now when it comes to self-care and like coming to Halra and like really just trying to put yourself first?
Yeah. A lot of people will be like, hey, I didn't make an appointment because I'm like embarrassed of the way that I look and that I've really let myself go. Yeah. And that like really hits me. And I'm like you're in the right spot. I've been there. I know what it's like to totally put yourself on the back burner and feel like I need to sign my kids up for camp, you know, like there's $450, or I need to, you know, like invest in something else and not myself. And, oh, I'm in, you know, a really solid marriage and I don't need to take care of me. And it's like, well, I'm not doing this for my husband either. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing this to enjoy the way that I look and to feel like my best self. So I would say if you're looking to get started, you can always just go for a consult, you know, find which provider feels right for you, even if it's not us. But you never have to be ashamed of how far you've quote unquote let yourself go, you know?
And honestly, too, guys, if you were in the North Shore area or anywhere that you would drive, because like you could drive at any point to come see Halra, obviously, they don't just like come in and let you sit down and like you pick what you get. Like it's almost like, okay, what are your goals?
No,
like, can you if I walked into your clinic today, what would be the goal? I mean, what would you sit me down, tell me step by step, how would it work for you?
Yeah, so you would book a consult unless you were like, hey, I just want Botox. This is what I normally get. I'm just switching to you and I want to be in and out. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, we read the room and see, you know, how much time, how much energy, you know, budget, if, you know, timeline also plays a huge factor. I feel like a lot of people plan their aesthetic treatments around a timeline or an event coming up. So, you know, what's the event, your age? We kind of just go through like, I mean, I've had someone make an appointment before for her double chin. She hated her double chin. And she has been on weight loss now for 2 years. She feels better than ever. She's done the Empower. She's just gotten her life back. Every time I see her, she cries and thanks me. Like, it's insane. So you come in leaving, like, you know, thinking, oh, where do I start? I have a sunspots or I have wrinkles on my forehead. And you leave, you know, with a little bit of time and like a lot of patience and investment from us, like our team really invests into you, you leave feeling so much better. And really not even, it's not about looking different. It's truly about like feeling so much better.
Yeah. So I want to pivot a little bit to your brand and like you as in general. Like I remember Mardi Gras and you came and you talked about how you have SSA girls that like,
are we doing the belly button thing?
Love you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh God.
I'm like, wait, what is the belly button thing? What belly button thing?
Oh my gosh, 2 years ago at Mardi Gras, I showed my belly button on the float and it got posted anonymously on the moms group.
And did you make a lot of money because you Morpheus ate your belly button so many
times? I did,
yeah.
I mean, I did. Like the next day in clinic, my sister was like, the phone is ringing off the hook. Whoever posted that picture of you is really not bright.
They actually might hate you, but thank you.
Like,
that's what you say, thank you. But hey, I'm glad we're going to keep that. Can we keep that in the podcast? Okay, cool. What I'm talking about is like, if there was like little girls that look up to you, because I saw them run down the float. Nurse Carly. Like, it's so cool. First off, like, I remember you telling us a story and like, you're like, I don't even feel like I am that important to these young girls. Yes. Let's take a step back and say like, how does that make you feel when you think of it like that? And then like, what's one piece of advice that you would give those girls that like are inspiring to be maybe an injector one day or maybe just a business owner in general?
It is really cool. And I just saw a patient the other day and she was like, yeah, I told my daughter I was going to get Botox. And she was like, oh, well, I follow this girl, Nurse Carly. And then I told my daughter that I was coming to you and she like thought I was so cool. And it is neat. And I went back and spoke at career day and like our table was just mobbed with like, you know, girls that want to become aesthetic nurse injectors. And I think it's really cool. It's definitely a field that's growing.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that this existed in high school. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I would have been like all in from the second I graduated high school. That would have been like the only thing. I probably wouldn't have gone off and experienced the other stuff that I did. But it's really has changed, you know, like what I post online and how careful I am, excuse me, to talk about like, I don't want girls, you know, that are in 8th grade looking at me thinking that they need lip filler. You know, it's hard. And as a mom, I have got 2 little girls, you know, and I don't want them to ever think, you know, they have to be perfect or to find their worth in the way that they look. So that has been difficult. I've had to, you know, I see a therapist and I've prayed about it a lot. And it's like, I want them to know, like, it's okay to take care of yourself, you know, and there should be no taboo around injectables. You know what I mean? Like, it's not weird to get braces to straighten your teeth, you know, like it shouldn't be that strange. But anyways, it's really cool. And whenever an 8th grader at your old high school thinks that you're famous, like it makes me cry. Like it makes me feel really cool.
Do your kids know like what you do and like do they understand it? Oh, I guess Duke is the oldest.
Duke is the oldest, yeah. Oh, they know. Like, and especially at school, you know, like he'll be like, "Oh, my mom will sponsor that," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. What am I sponsoring?"
Yeah.
Or like the other day, my daughter's at cheer camp and she was cold, and one of the counselors gave her a sweatshirt, and she was like, "Oh, okay, thank you. My mom will do your Botox."
They're like your mini salespeople.
Yeah, she really is.
Oh my God. Look, she's going to walk right into the family business and be like, boom.
I surely hope one of them does. Yeah.
No, that's going to be so special. Okay. So you've got the training. You've got like every time we go in to film Carly, and I've known you for now 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm literally shocked. And that's not saying that in a bad way. I'm just like, you are such a wealth of knowledge that when you do pour back into like our conversations and our interview questions, I'm just like, holy shit. But you've got the training, the team, and the trust. If someone's listening right now and feeling curious but nervous about aesthetic services, what would you tell them?
Well, I mean, like I had said earlier, just get off of TikTok, because the absolute worst case scenario is not gonna, you know, it's not gonna happen to you. I think that that's getting like overfilled and looking insane. You know, you're not gonna leave looking, I say all the time, it's probably overused, but you're not gonna leave looking like Stifler's mom or looking like something that you absolutely hate.
Yeah.
We definitely go slow. And if you're anxious, you know, I think that's good. I think a little bit of nervousness is healthy. You know, if you were coming in like, I want one of everything, I've never done anything before and I want it all right now, I would be like,
hold up.
Yeah, what's going on at home? You know, like let's unpack this a little bit. So I think, you know, never be ashamed. And I think it's important. And if you're even thinking about it, to come in for a consult. And if you leave and we never see you again, then that's fine. As long as we've scratched that itch and you've figured out for yourself whether or not it's for you, you know, and not let other people decide that for you.
Yeah. Okay, what is one of the biggest myths that you've heard in the aesthetic world? And you could take a second to like, that you would love to bust. Like, I'm giving you the moment to riff about it.
That Botox and filler makes you look fake. I absolutely disagree with that. And I think that our work speaks for itself. I think that that's the wrong providers, you know, and people being totally overdone. And you see those celebrities and it's like, wow, obviously money still doesn't buy a good injector, because these people have all the money in the world and they look absolutely ridiculous. And I say all the time, and I've heard this somewhere else, so I can't take credit for this, but like in my practice, I would rather you look old than weird, you know, like I would rather you age gracefully than just look weird. And I think that perception drift is what has caused aesthetics to have such a bad rap. And people are running the opposite way from it. You know, like they're not even shaving their armpits anymore, some of these girls, because they are just done with the bullshit of we have to keep up with ourselves. We have to look perfect and we have to look fake and our lips have to be, you know, absolutely ginormous. And that's not it. You know, I think that subtle tweaks can go a really long way. And I definitely don't think that Botox and filler makes you look fake. I hate that.
That's actually a great way to segue into this next question. Have you ever told someone no?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Can you give us an example? You don't have to tell us the person, but.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, I have patients all the time that want their lips done. And I'm like, absolutely not. We have to dissolve. Like, I won't have my name on that. And it's not even like, oh, I didn't do the original ones, I'm going to make you dissolve. It's like, no, you don't need that. Or you were just here. Like, why are you back on my books for more Botox? You know, like I will always tell people no. And people laugh at my DMs all the time. They're like, you are turning me away. You're like a boyfriend that I want to see that won't see me. I'm like, I love you so much and we can hang out, but like, I'm not taking your money. You need nothing else.
Well, I'll take your money in other avenues because we have a whole bunch of other services, but I'm not making your lips bigger because right now we need to dissolve them.
Yeah. Or we can like, you know, save your money. Let's go get a drink or something. Like we are not doing your lips again.
Yeah. Okay. So I had a question. Hold on. It just went out of my brain. Oh, you said something and it was really good. Oh, well. Okay. Let's talk about there we go. Okay. There's a lot of questions that we see like online too. The difference between Botox, Dysport, and Daxi. Can you like kind of break those down if somebody wants to come sit in your chair? They want to get quote unquote Botox, but they don't necessarily know which one's going to work for them. What would you advise them to do?
Yeah. I definitely think that like what your friend gets isn't what's going to work best for you. And I think that you have to take their injection history into consideration and say like, you know, if you've been getting Botox for 20 years and you love your dosing and you love your pattern and you get great longevity out of it, then we're going to stick with that. You know, there's no reason to change it. I'm definitely not going to push whatever, you know, makes me the most money or whatever rep I'm closest to. I'm always going to decide what I think is best for you. I have tried them all, obviously. And I only offer 3. So I only offer Daxi, Botox, and Dysport. And that's not for any reason other than, you know, personal preference. And if there's another brand that you like, I'm sure there's another great injector I can refer you to. They're all a little bit different, but they all work wonderfully. There's some that I like in one part of the face and don't like in another part of the face. So I always say like my secret sauce is like one brand up here, one brand down here. I kind of mix it up. I know my reps are going to like totally bash me for that, but that's what I like. And it's what looks freaking awesome. So that's what we do.
Okay. So a lot of my community is online, right? And some of them are here. I mean, totally, if you're listening to this, you can fly in because she'll take you from wherever you live. But like, what is some advice you would tell them to ask their injector before they even start the journey with Botox?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, it's difficult. So I think the barrier of entry into aesthetics is super low, right?
Yeah.
Like you literally just have to go to nursing school or PA school or NP school or whatever. Even, you know, doctors that don't get a lot of training on this, and you can open up a shop and do Botox. And while that's fine, taking a weekend course, some people are brilliant and become wonderful injectors. I would ask about their continuing education. No one is too good to keep learning. And if you are, that's incredibly dangerous. So I think that their continuing ed and before and afters, if their before and afters don't align with what you like, or if their aesthetic doesn't look like how you want to look, then maybe you need to use a little critical thinking and say like, you know, if he or she is overfilled, am I going to eventually leave here looking overfilled? You know, if they have that we call perception drift of like what looks normal, then you have to be kind of careful with that.
Yeah. And you said something right there that I really want to point out. How important, you obviously said it, but I want you to elaborate a little bit on it, on continuing education. Because I feel like every time I turn around, you're doing a Wednesday of like continuing education, which I think is 1, brilliant. And then 2, that's what's going to build that trust. So like, can you elaborate a little bit on like why you think that's important and necessary?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're always going to learn something whenever you go to any aesthetic conference. We pay for trainings after trainings. I probably do like 1 continuing ed training a month, and you're always going to pick up little pearls. And then also you're always going to learn safety techniques. You know, you're always going to hear someone's oh shit story and how they, you know, handled an absolute emergency and who they have in their back pocket. You know, you have some of these people that don't participate in continuing ed because they can't get along with others, or they won't go to things because they can't handle competition or being in the same room or having someone that's better than them to learn from. And that's scary because if you get in deep shit, you're not going to have anyone to lean on. So I think that, you know, providing continuing ed is great. You're always going to learn something new, but then you're still building that network in case shit goes down.
Let's talk about, so I get very vulnerable in general with my community, and I feel like it really builds trust. So like, I want you to talk about one of like the highest of highs that you've had in business, and you're like, holy shit, that was amazing. But I also want you to like, maybe think of one that was like the lowest of lows, where you don't necessarily thought at that moment you were going to overcome it, but what helped you overcome that? and whatever you're comfortable with sharing, but I would love some little tip to someone that's building a business, because it's hard as shit. No matter what industry you're in, there's always going to be cattiness. There's always going to be people trying to tear you down. Like, can you think of one thing that was like, holy crap, like this might make me burn it to the ground? And then one thing that was like, this is actually why I'm doing what I do. Yeah,
absolutely. So the highest of highs obviously is whenever the kids come to the clinic, like, and I look around and I'm like, oh my gosh, my children, my 4 beautiful children. And, you know, like I have this awesome husband and this brand that we've built. And like, even like my mother-in-law, for example, came in town and she went to J. Crew and checked out. And the girl was like, oh my gosh, are you related to Halra Wellness and Aesthetics? And like, she thought that was cool. And like, it's pretty neat. Gives me chills
yeah,
I know. Oh and God. Like, I just never thought that I would really like that. And I actually ended up like really enjoying it and building something that people know. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is unstoppable. Like what we've built is just moving fast and forward. And like, nobody can take that away. I have these little like God wink moments all the time where I'm like, this is awesome. Like I'm living my absolute dream life. But then there's other times where like, I remember we were in our old house and we got a knock on the door. I was with my kids out at over there in Chick-fil-A, and my babysitter answered the door and signed for a package. And we got like a cease and desist and like some letter from that like seemed super official. And my babysitter sent me pictures of it. And I remember checking my phone and my heart dropped like completely out of my body. Like you would have thought I'd seen a ghost. And I called a really amazing mentor of mine, and he was like, Carly, you know, you're always going to get that. And one day it's going to feel like junk mail, and you can treat it just like junk mail. And one day it's going to roll right off your back. But right now it feels big and scary. My husband was in Germany. He was flying at the time. I couldn't get a hold of him. And I remember feeling like my world is crashing down. Like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, this is not something that you think of whenever you start a business, that you're going to get these, you know, scary legal letters and stuff. And I remember being like, what did I do so wrong that someone would target me like that? You know, like I get gossip and making fun of people and stuff like that, but coming for someone's livelihood is actually unhinged. And I just remember being like, look at these kids, like in the backseat of my car. And like, I'm just looking and they're like, mommy, mommy, mommy. And I'm just reading these text messages that my babysitter, how embarrassing is that, sent me of these letters laid out on the kitchen island. And I'm shaking like a leaf. Like, I don't even remember how I got home. I just probably zoned out and drove home and just completely collapsed and cried like a baby in the bathtub. I think I called you. That sucked. And I still remember what that feels like. And if anyone else is in that situation, like call me. I don't even know if I don't know you. I don't care. Like we can talk through it because
just band together, literally.
Yeah. Like it's fine, because I tell my husband all the time, they can't take my family, they can't take my husband, they can't take my health. And that's it. You know, he reminds me that a lot whenever anxiety really starts to creep in.
That's so good.
You can't take my pillars, you know, you can't take my character, you can't take my husband, you can't take my kids. Yeah. And as long as I have that and my health, like my kid's not dying, that would be devastating.
Yeah.
What these random people are doing to me, not devastating. It was at the time, but in the grand scheme of things, looking back, it's like I have everything I'll ever need. The rest is just lagniappe, you know?
For them to put this into perspective, how long ago is that?
2 years, 18 months-ish.
Now look at her now.
Yeah.
You know, like thinking back to that, like I remember this, like it was yesterday, it was gut wrenching, but like at the same time, it was like your first big. So it was you thinking like, I'm going to fail, when reality you're not.
Yeah.
You're just going to cry a little and we're going to pick the pieces up.
And even if I do, like, that's okay. Cause the rest is just lagniappe. Like I have absolutely everything I need. This isn't, you know, I don't live and die by this. So, you know, coming for someone's livelihood really sucks, but like, everything else is so solid that like we're really unshakable now.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Yeah. If you could go back in time and tell younger Carly something, what would you tell her?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna cry with you. Oh my God.
I know. Well, I didn't have like the easiest childhood. It may look like that from the outside looking in, but like everything's gonna be okay. And like, before you know it, you'll be living your dream life. So like everything will work out, even when it feels like absolute hell on earth. Things will be okay, you know? And becoming a mom will be like the greatest thing that's ever happened to you. And you will learn so much about yourself. And definitely always bet on yourself and build something that other people can't take away from you. You know, don't rely on others to show up and save you. And always, always bet on yourself.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Sorry.
No, do not apologize. I love that. I'm very proud of you. I've literally watched you, I'm going to cry, for 2 years, like go through hell. like go through hell and back. And like, if we could honestly share the hell you've gone through, like people would understand. So if you needed to hear it today, like I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I look up to you, and I thank you for making me feel better and like look better and like all the things. So everybody listening to this podcast, if you don't follow Halra Wellness and Aesthetics, we're going to link it in the show notes. And Nurse Carly, we're about to build her badass brand too, because she is just getting started. Going there, all things aesthetics, weight loss, any type of laser hair removal, whatever you want, Carly and her team are the people that you should call. So thank you so much for being here today. I absolutely adore and love you. So
thank you for having me. I love you too.
If you like this podcast, please comment, leave a review, and share with a friend that definitely needs to hear all this. And until next time, let's freaking get it.